Let's go. Oops. I do it every time. Welcome to Pillow Talking Podcast.
Welcome, guys.
This is your boy JT.
And Nene.
And we are back with another episode. And it's a great week for us so far.
It's just a second day.
Just a second day, but I mean, hey, let's celebrate wins when it's time. So. But look, let's get into it. I want to start with the whole DMX thing. We just were so happy, but DMX, if you don't know, he recently overdosed.
Yeah.
And I guess relapsed with his battle with drugs. And I mean, I don't really want to. It's not DMX I want to talk about. It's just the fact that as humans, I think we have to remember that we never can get to a point where we feel like we have conquered whatever it is. Like we can celebrate like whatever your habit is, if it's, drugs, if it's whatever it is. We all have that thing that we try not to do, whether it's, lying, cursing, spending money bad, eating bad. And we all, we celebrate like, oh, it's been a week since I did this, or, 2 years since I did this, or 3 years. But the whole thing is that
whatever
we are still, no matter how far we get, we're still one day away or one choice away from going back to it.
And I never know when that's our last
I think we have to remember that, and that should be our prayer for anybody who deals with that, including ourselves. Right. So we should always be humble enough to know that I'm one bad decision away from going back to where I said I would never be again. And
especially with addictions.
It
don't matter what you're addicted to.
Whatever it is, whatever
you're trying to stop.
And people, when we say addict, we automatically assume drugs. There's people who are addicted to food, who are addicted to sex, who are addicted to lying, who are addicted to stealing, who are addicted. It's so many things you can be addicted to. And sometimes we forget that, somebody could be doing good, and the very next day, they could be back at square one.
Yeah.
And that's why we got to stay. If you have friends or family who struggle with stuff, man, pray for them. Keep in contact with them. Even if they are looking good,
keep in contact.
Make sure if you notice something's a little off, check in with them.
Yes. Pay attention to them. Because if they seem like they're being okay, that'd be the main ones that you have to, they at home freaking out.
And we celebrate, and we see, we see people, we win, it's been 2 years since I last had a drink of alcohol, or 5 years since I've been off drugs. But we have to remain, we have to remain in that constant, I'm one choice away. So we stay humble enough to know that I can't, be around it. I can't play with it, because this is what happens. Like, I'm sure DMX didn't want to overdose.
Right.
I'm sure he probably was like, just a little hit. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that was his intention. I could be wrong, but I don't think that's ever anybody's intentions when they are struggling with addiction. Yeah. Even in relationships, people who, let's say they struggle with lying, or they don't want to hurt anybody. They might just be a pathological liar.
Addicted to lying. Like, I can't stop. Like, that's literally, And
that's what I'm saying. So my whole thing with the DMX situation, it was like a reminder that you have to stay humble when you can't. Nobody is greater than our humanity. Like, we are still humans. We're not gods. I don't care how you walk around and
how much money you got,
how
it don't
woke
matter.
You are, how we are not perfect. We're not perfect. We're not perfect. We're humans.
And every day we can fight against our own soul. Shucks.
Right.
Every day. But to people who know addicts who are, like I said, that could be anything, or people who are trying to get over addictions. What I've noticed over my past years of just watching people who were addicts and how the recovery process, as a friend, as a family member, or whatever, just somebody who knows someone like that, I feel like the most important thing that you could do is to be there. Like, because when you, just think about small stuff that you deal with. Like, when you're alone, like something that you're just trying to overcome, it could be anything. Like, when you're alone, though, that's when you think about those things all the time. Like, and that's where, like, almost the temptation comes in at. So
And that's like I said, it's not just with drugs. Yeah. It's not just with it's with
like
anything.
People, for instance, food. Like for real.
No, yeah.
When you're bored, what do you do?
Some people really.
You literally just go eat.
Food is a drug for some people. They will eat themselves into sickness.
Right.
Yep. Whether it's a temporary sickness or whether it's a long term diabetes or
or if they're lonely, what you do? You eat.
And that's why we watch the shows and we laugh. They're funny. But
it's really sad.
We watch these shows where people have eaten themselves to 600 pounds or 700 pounds, and you wonder how does that happen? It's because they're addicted.
Yeah.
And
it's an addiction.
Nobody is greater than that. We all have to remain humble and for us through Christ, and hopefully for you, you can find that strength to remain.
Absolutely.
Right. But that's kind of, I don't want to stay there because it's kind of sad, watching an icon go through something.
Yeah. And after we saw get better.
After we went through the whole process of him saying, this is my issue, this is what happened, we saw the recovery, we saw the potential for him as far as his impact. I mean, this dude was a global icon. People like to make jokes like, man, nobody knew. No, DMX was an icon. Yeah. You don't sell almost 100 million records before. I'm talking about before streaming, before social media, and not be iconic.
As a rapper, like, nah.
Right. So, I guess we'll kind of move on. I mean, it was other stuff in social media, but who cares? Like, that's something serious. Like, who cares about the drama? But, so, I had a guy reach out to me. It was like, hey, I want to ask you a question.
We have a question.
Yeah,
I love questions, guys.
First, I'll pull the question up first. I'll read the question first, and then I will play a video that goes with the question that's been going on Twitter. It's like a kind of an argument. Okay. So this guy was like, look, man, I'm scared of having another child at the moment. Granted, these thoughts only come up when the child I have now is being crazy and bad, so it could just be cold feet. And he was like, I just want to know if you ever had any doubts about adding to your family in the beginning of a relationship. So I was like, look, first, what are the underlying reasons of that fear? And he said, I don't feel like I make enough to support 2 kids now. I just know I have tremendous support. It's just I would feel more comfortable if I knew for sure I could do it alone if I had to, if that makes sense. And I responded, financial fear is legitimate and also wise to consider. Kids are expensive. Not having finances is stressful for everyone and could lead to a very toxic environment. Yeah. He was like, yeah, I've dealt with that scenario before. I'm not trying to go back. And I was like, well, don't go back. Mm-hmm. Learn from your past experience. So on Twitter, this video has been going viral let me pull it up. This girl said this.
Yep, this. Every single time I say that if you don't have money, you shouldn't have kids, people get on my ass, but I've had enough. It'd be one thing if it was an accident, but if you know that you're literally living on the poverty line and you choose to have 4, 5, 6 kids, that is child neglect and child abuse. If your kids are going to bed every single day without eating, without proper clothes, they can barely get to school and actually perform, you're setting them up for failure, and you're choosing to have more, you're a bad parent. Now, obviously, there are a lot of problems with this. I know this comes off very classist, but at some point, you have to start taking responsibility over your body. Right. I know sex education isn't taught well, especially in lower class brackets, but I promise the $10 condoms at the gas station is going to be less expensive than child number 5. At some point, we have to start taking responsibility because children do not deserve to be put in households where they can barely get fed.
Right. So that video has been, I've seen people write books on Twitter about, it's a dual-sided argument. Some people are saying, obviously, yeah, that's wrong to have kids when you can't financially take care of them. Mm-hmm. And that goes, and this is not targeted toward men or women. This is saying in general. So men who make decisions to go have all these kids all over and know they can't take care of them, that's wrong. And also women who continue to have multiple kids
and it's just you, sis. It's like you and your partner can't.
And my thing is, I understand what she was saying. Like, you don't want to come off as this whole elite, like, blah blah. Like classist.
I'm better than you.
I have money, so I can have a kid. That's not what we're saying. I'm saying even for us, we're not poor, but we're not rich.
Yeah.
So if we just kept having kid,
then what would happen?
If we had 6 kids
and our income stayed the same, what happens?
At some point, we'll have to be like, look, we can't afford to have another kid.
Yeah.
But to me, some people feel like, and I don't know why, maybe, I don't know. Some people really feel like it's okay to just continue to have kid after kid after kid.
And it's not. Like, I don't.
And to me, you're setting up your kid.
It's just really sad because it's like, yeah, like people, I don't know, like a lot of people don't think past childbirth. Like,
but my thing is this. It's one thing if it's an accident. Like you accidentally have
people
a kid.
who I know people.
But I know people who literally
say they're
having kids and
the income don't match.
Like
I'm just gonna be honest.
Like you're knowingly
they have more
kids.
income. They have more kids than their income can handle. Because I know them and I know their income.
Right.
But they don't care. They just like the fact that to have kids, but it's more than having kids. Like it's a future. It's a child in his life. Like it's life. Like that's a life. Like that you're responsible for it.
And that's what I'm saying.
You know?
And so people trying to argue like saying like, oh, so you're saying poor people can't have kids.
What?
No, that's not even the argument.
No,
the argument is if you are knowingly bringing kids into the world and you know you don't know how to go support them or take care of them, that is not okay.
Yeah, if you don't know how you're gonna, don't do it. Like
because even if you are poor but you have a plan, that's different than people who literally have no plan, no support system in place, no.
Right.
Because I mean, let's say you are poor or whatever, and that's another term that's relative. Because what I might consider poor, some people might consider
what does
rich.
Poor mean?
So that's
honestly.
what I'm saying.
Like
that's why I don't even want to make it a money thing. I'm saying it's more of a plan thing. Like if you have a kid, if you literally have a kid without a plan, I feel like you are doing a disservice to that kid. Like you are literally setting that kid up to be in a worse environment. And I'm just like, wow.
Or like if your lifestyle, just look at your lifestyle. Like if your lifestyle can't afford a kid, basically, don't have a kid. If you got to second guess it, that means it's not time.
Right.
Like second guessing, that's your number one.
And to me, there's nothing. To me,
nothing's wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with sitting down with the person that you are about to be intimate with and saying, "Look, child, if we have sex, it's a possibility that a child can be made.
Right.
Are we prepared for that?"
Right.
And that goes for married people.
Absolutely.
That goes for unmarried people. Yeah. Anytime you go into any type of relationship and you having sex, it's a possibility. I don't care if you have birth control, whatever. It's still a possibility. You have to consider.
Yeah.
If you got pregnant, what would what would we do?
Right. Like especially when you plan. Like me, I think about every single thing. Now, if it's an accident, like we don't know what happened. For instance, Journey. Right. Usually, like majorly, we knew.
Yeah, I don't want to say we made our first son, like our son together, our first son together. We didn't plan it. Like we didn't lay down one night saying we conceiving, but we were okay.
Yeah, because we were thinking about.
Like we were okay if she got pregnant. We were like, cool.
It was okay.
We already had the plan in place.
Yeah. Like the day wasn't planned, but a child was.
Second,
but Journey, nobody knows
to this day.
What happened with Journey?
I don't know how she was conceived. I don't know when she was conceived.
Yeah, like we know when it made me like major.
But I'm saying with Journey, I don't know. I
don't know
tried to track dates.
Black.
I tried to put it together.
I can't.
It just I don't know. But that's what I'm saying. That was one accident.
Yeah. Right. Now
we can't keep having multiple accidents because then after that, that's not an accident anymore.
I was about to say that it's not an accident anymore. But what I was gonna say is, for me, when I think about, am I ready for a kid or am I not ready for a kid? It goes past financial stability. For me, it goes emotionally. Are you ready for another kid? Mentally, because sometimes I might have the money, but my mental state is not prepared for another kid. Yeah.
Like let's look at people who are rich. Like, what if your lifestyle is not ready for kids?
Right.
Can you settle down?
All over. Right.
Are you moving here or going there sick? That's okay. To me, there's nothing wrong to consider that stuff, man.
It's important. Like that's a grown up conversation.
Yeah,
like,
if you're gonna be
supposed to do.
Making this grown decision to lay down with people, it's okay to make a decision to
about children,
right?
Because that's what adults do,
right? So to me, like I said, I saw this conversation. I can see how it can come off as classes or I don't want to say like stuck up. But yeah, this is something that
offensive.
something that we all say. We just don't necessarily say it like this.
The same way.
We've all seen somebody with multiple kids be like, nah, another one.
Stop.
Another one.
They need to stop.
Right. We've all said that. Let's be real. We've seen situations like, why would you bring another child in this world? Or why would you bring a kid in this world? You know what I'm saying?
Or even, us. We just be like I said, it's on all spectrums. We be like, no more. Like, people be like, y'all want
people always
tell
us we should have more kids, and we have to have a real conversation. Like, we are not prepared. We need to get a house first.
We need to do what we need to do.
We got stuff we're trying to do. We got kids that we already need to attend to that require attention, and that's not even just money. Like, kids are way more than money. Especially when you birth kids who are talented or who have these just natural gifts, whether it's athletic, whether it's music, whether it's education, and you have to sit there and as a parent, your job is to cultivate each single kid. Yeah, it's no way you can do that
on top of education. Period, like schoolwork.
There's no way you can do that properly with multiple kids and then support them financially.
So we be like, nah, we chilling right now because
we chilling, and
we also have plans. Like, is there a kid in our future plans after we've hit our goals?
Definitely.
Sure, we don't. Like I say that all the time, but right now, no, we have stuff that we want to do right now.
Please. I know. Our kids are adorable. I know our kids are. Funny. I know everybody likes Major, eats all the food. I know Journey looks like a model. I know Evan is super talented and can act in any movie, but please lead them where they at. Lead them kids. Y'all, please.
Lead them kids where they at.
If you love us, please don't pray that prayer on us.
Please don't.
I don't know which one of y'all touched and agreed on Journey.
Because
that came out of nowhere. That had to be God.
Yeah, it had to be because no.
But I love all my kids, and I'm gonna do it. I, as a dad, will do anything to provide for them. Some people don't feel like that, but let's just we talking about money today. So look, let's talk about. We've all heard the phrase, "It's cheaper to keep her," or "It's cheaper to keep him." Divorce. And Dom, I'm telling you this now. After watching these TikToks of this dude who got divorced. I'm not divorcing you. I'm just gonna be 100%. It costs.
I'm laughing because your mom said it.
Much to get divorced. Like I never knew. Like I knew it was like, oh, they could get half. I didn't know it was this though. Like, let's listen to this.
Dang, his stuff must be bad.
How much did my divorce cost me? Well, this is a fantastic question. There's direct and there's indirect costs. Direct costs, I lost $106,000 out of my 401k retirement plan I spent 20 years contributing to. I also lost half the equity in the home, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, cash, and savings that I also spent 20 years contributing to. I also lost half of all the non-liquid assets like furniture, household goods, electronics, cars. Keep in mind, I paid for all of these. And this is in addition to financially supporting her and her/our daughter for 17 years, which is many hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'm now broke, live in a 2-bedroom apartment, and have a negative net worth for the first time since I was, 25. Indirect costs, my job, my sobriety, my self-worth, my masculinity, my hope for the future, my ability to trust women again.
You got kind of dark. But anyway.
Yeah, dang, boy. You was hurt.
But I'm just saying, like, bro, divorce is expensive. And I always hear people say that.
And it's like the more money you make, the more expensive
that's what I'm saying. So I'm just saying, like, that's another conversation that you need to, look, we get married, we together. Because
and especially if you want to build a wealth or a legacy or a life, a lifeline thing, like you got to put all that into play, whoever your partner is. Like,
and that's what I'm saying. Like, even when you look at stuff like divorce, or you look at, and I hate to say it, but when people get divorced, it's normally over like simple things that build up over time. Besides the obvious like cheating and infidelity, abuse and stuff like that, but. That's why I'm saying people should. If you never had a reason to go to therapy,
I was about to say that therapy is.
Yes. I'm a firm believer now that I will I will use every single resource I have before I ever say the word divorce, because I just been watching his videos and then it's like, so I was like, oh, maybe it's just him, but no, it's like multiple guys on TikTok like telling everything they lost in divorce. Like one dude was like, he had like, worked his whole life and had this land and a big house, and he lost it all.
Man.
And it was like he didn't even make the mistake,
Right. Like, but that goes to show you everybody hurts. Everybody suffers.
Everybody
who's
suffers
connected to you. Even
too,
your friends and family. Because what you supposed to do? You losing friendships. You losing relationships too. So.
Right. And so that's why
it's like a like a bowling ball.
That's what I'm saying. But like I said, I'm keeping it 100 with you. I'm not getting divorced. that sealed the deal for me.
Oh well.
And look, there's one more, I guess, clip I want to listen to. Our friends to the pod, I'll say that. Yeah. Aston Martins, King and Takar. That's like our OGs, I guess. They took on a Kevin Samuels video, which is
that's big, baby.
That's big because he's known to clap back, and he's known to his fans are like crazy.
Oh yeah.
But let's just listen to what happened. Right.
Just go back to Solomon. How many wives did he have? What did David do with Bathsheba? Understand something, ladies. Men with power, men of value.
Oh, I hate when people do this.
Because they
what
should.
What you just said?
In the Bible, in those narratives, what we'll find is confusion and deterioration from the family to all the way up into entire nation. That was King Solomon's issue, is that he let too much come into Israel and it was led astray. That was King David's issue. There was a huge debt to be paid, which he lost his first son or first child because of that. But there's also another issue right there that's nestled right in there. Let me tell you what that is.
What's that issue?
The issue is when you mention Bathsheba, what you forget is that she was already married to a man who thought what he did was more important and who he knew was more important. And she got scooped by a king.
Just go back to Solomon.
So look, my thing is this. I cannot stand when people try to use the Bible to justify, polygamy and all these.
Wild.
Because what happens is none of these relationships in the Bible where they had multiple wives
worked.
I don't know if you really they had
horrible things came from
but
it.
This never was the Disney romantic ending, and they all walked away holding hands with all their wives.
That man's son died.
And my thing is, I understand. I have to be clear, and I think they mentioned it too. We sometimes look at stuff like that through a cultural lens, and what we've seen in our, American culture. Yeah. And we have to understand that in other places that's not the case.
Right.
And that's a cultural thing. I don't think you can justify it with the Bible.
The Bible, because it's not a Christian thing.
This is a cult. I feel like anything.
It's a culture.
It's a culture thing.
It's
so,
not, and I mean,
you can't mix culture and then
it's just hard to say that.
Swap it religion when you want to, and then come back to culture.
Well, even with that polygamy, let's just talk about culture for a second.
Right.
That's not cheating. Like in that culture.
That's what I'm saying. And
it's
that's
polygamy.
And that's what I'm saying.
Not I'm going mess around with somebody. No, you mess with those people.
And my thing was, when you referencing the Bible, you have to remember that happened at a certain time in a certain place. So there's a context around the scripture. Right. And sometimes we like to take the scripture and remove the historical context of when it happened and then wrap that around the current American context and be like, look, he did this then. So, but that's not, you can't.
He wasn't. Yeah.
You can't. And I get why people do it, because that's how you do anything in life. You can you take it and you compare it to what's going on now, and that's kind of how cancel culture makes zero sense. Because people will take a book that was written in 1905 and then hold it to the same standard of today, and you're just like, that doesn't work.
Do that.
And so the same way you look at, I saw people like, man, you can't cancel, this person or this, because back then it was okay. Same thing applies with some of the stuff in the Bible. Like it has a context behind it. It's not just
time frame. Also, yeah, like y'all be wilding.
They be wilding,
but I cannot believe he said that.
But my thing is this: people, if you want to make an argument, that yes, the more success you have, the more options and the higher it is you will cheat. I might sit there and we can discuss that. But to say that you will cheat if you're successful, that is a lie from hell.
Because I mean, somebody could have said, so is you going to cheat or something?
Because my thing was, cheating might not be
everybody's downfall.
Everybody, like some people really don't have a problem with cheating. Their
For
downfall
real.
might be something else. Like,
yeah, shoot, they could be like angry. Or,
every,
like, they
every
might do
man
something.
doesn't deal, and that's why we try to tell
With
people
cheating,
lust.
like, yeah, right.
Some,
correct,
some
lust.
men really don't deal with lust.
They
Like,
don't.
they are disciplined. Like, I have friends, especially, you know, I work out a lot. So a lot of my friends that are in the gym, they are disciplined enough to control the lust, and they have mastered it. And some men have mastered it.
Yeah. It's other things, but that don't mean they don't have a thorn in their side or whatever. But
Right.
everybody thorn in their side is not lust. Like,
Right.
come on. Like,
It's just like,
the
man.
world is too big for that for every man to be the same.
Right. And
that's another problem that we got.
my thing with Kevin, I appreciate his videos because sometimes he is saying what needs to be said.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't like to hear because they don't want to deal with it.
Because it's the raw
But
truth.
sometimes he says stuff that is just completely
left.
and it's just like, I don't agree with it. But the cool thing about him, he know everybody don't agree with it. He's like, whatever, you know.
You don't care.
You don't care, and I don't care.
You just making
If you
another
don't
video.
care, I don't care. But speaking of not caring, I love you, but I don't care. My favorite part of the podcast.
Yeah.
So, of course, for me, college basketball is over. The championship was yesterday. Are you clapping?
Yes.
You are clapping that basketball's over? That's so racist.
Yes, I'm so over it.
No, but for real though, like the championship game was boring. Like I turned it off halfway through. Like it was a blowout. I was upset because, you know, you have all these good games. You have buzzer beaters. You have the number one team versus number two. You think it's about to be,
and they blow them out.
and it's a blowout. So college basketball is over. The NBA is starting to heat up a little bit, and then football is right over the hill. So we back.
Goodness, that's Journey's sport. She likes to watch football
Yeah,
with
my
her dad.
daughter loves to watch football. I think it's because, I'm going to say this, I could be wrong. I think she likes football because it's loud and because it's moving. So, like, she just follows, like, people running around.
And she loves to stare. If you know
Yeah.
Journey, she pays attention. So she loves to watch people move all around.
Right.
So that's about right.
I'm asking you this. Who won the national title? Who
For
won?
men or women?
For men.
Did I watch men?
What team won the national title this year?
Baylor?
Okay.
Check me out.
All right, so what team won the women's?
Carolina? No, wait. No. Cardinals. The Cardinals.
The Cardinals?
That's what they are, right?
Wait. Now you got me tripping. Wait.
They are the Cardinals.
Wait, who?
The white and the Cardinals. That's what they are. They're the Cardinals.
The Cardinals. No, I think it was Stanford.
Stanford is the Cardinals.
Are they the Cardinals?
Yes, because that's what the man said.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
you're right.
What the black man off of the we know him. What is the black man off of the talking thing? He's like all of them, like maybe 4 people, and he was like, "Congrats to my girl, whatever her name is." Blah blah. This is right before the men started.
The talk. Oh,
He said that he was like,
TNT.
"Shout out to the Cardinals, man." Yeah.
The Charles and
he
all
said,
of them.
"My friend, yeah."
All right, look at you.
Yep. That's
Learning
all I
basketball.
watched.
Yeah,
And they lost by 1 point.
They did. See, that's the game I expected for the men. Like a nail biter where you gotta watch.
The girls' game was pretty good.
No, it was.
Yeah, but
both of them. The Final Four too.
Yeah.
They. I mean, technically the game before that was good too, but yeah. So what you got, man?
Nothing really. Well, I mean, just my own personal things. So I forgot you said that is something. So something. I have an assignment due today.
You do?
Yeah, it's about emotions. So last week we did soul, focusing on soul, feeling the song, and making it your own. And this week we're doing emotions. So we're adding soul.
So look, let me ask you this: you're in a class for vocals. How did you? I mean, obviously you saw the verses. I don't know if you saw it, but you saw how people were like, "Man, they don't make music like this anymore." Do you think we don't make music like that anymore, or people just don't sing with the same soul and emotion?
That part. I feel like, I'm gonna say this. I feel like record labels, and that's the problem. Record labels, like big name record labels, are not worried about soul anymore.
They worried about just.
They're worried about appearance. They're worried about who is the biggest audience, like who's the audience that's gonna make more money.
Right.
So like that's more pop and stuff like that. They're not worried about real lyrics, because if you got soul and you write music, that means you have good lyrics. You're a lyrical person, and most of the time those people are dibbing dabbing poetry, like you good with words. People don't really care about that. Like people who don't love
and
real
that's the
music,
thing, they don't care.
They don't care about that, and that's why. And
I think what happened.
That's why some of those people are.
I think the biggest thing that happened
labels.
is that music went from being like artist driven to like record label driven,
popularity driven. Yeah. Because like you could be on a TV show and you so popular, and you go to a record label and be like,
that comes
hey,
from.
I want to sing.
I think that comes from the emergence of like TV and like it became more commercial, and then who we can make more commercial.
Right.
Because back in the day, this was radio.
Right.
What sounded good.
Right.
What felt good.
You had to sound.
You had to sound.
You had to be good. Like that's what the difference.
Because people
is.
went to your shows and came to see you, but then as you went to
you had to be good.
as we commercialized stuff, as TV
you don't
became
have to be good now.
More it was like, oh, they look good.
Right. You literally can give hands off your looks. Right.
Yeah, so
you don't have to be
so
good.
that was the big change. Then you went from, obviously you went from TV to social media, and now it's just like, okay, who has a following, who has influence.
Correct. Absolutely.
Because we see YouTubers now become so-say artists.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying they can't sing or rap, but they're not.
Some people
aren't
artists.
Right.
But they are workers or something. I don't know. Like they just work pass money around.
But I do think there's a lot of good music still being made. It's just not pushed.
It's not mainstream because it's not.
Because like the mainstream music is terrible. But if you find those artists and those like unsigned people, even like, for example, people like PJ, and
it's like almost
underground. But all these underground people,
right.
Even some of the more famous people, their projects don't get pushed. Like
what's
Ari Lennox.
I was about to say that Ari Lennox. Yeah,
like we know the Shea Butter, but if you really listen to the rest of the music,
and what's crazy is back in the day, she is a modern Erykah Badu, and back in the day, Erykah Badu was biggest. I don't know what without social media, which means shouldn't she be big also?
Yeah.
But like that's the thing. Like nobody really worried about real music anymore. It's more of shows and lights and who could put on a better show and pop.
Right.
I don't really care.
And let's be real, like
our
and I'm not even like I'm not the biggest like colorism person, but I mean let's be real, it's commercial. When you look at
they
stuff,
still looking for it.
They don't really push brown skinned girls like Ari, man. Like and like I said, I don't like beating on that colorism drum, but let's be real, like you look at girls like Ari Lennox and I'm forgetting her name, SZA, and all these girls who are talented.
Well,
all these people are uber talented, and you're like, man, like.
Well, just like 7th Streeter, she said that. She literally said that.
Like,
that she didn't. And the girl who she could dance and sing. Right. The girl for Fifth Harmony, the only black girl.
Yeah, forgot her name, but
like that girl can sing.
That's not saying that lighter complexion people are not just as talented. It's just saying that. They don't push equal brown skin girls, and that
they don't push them equally. And
that sucks sometimes that you have to go dig for them. Yeah.
Like, it's really sad. Yeah. But real good music is not dead. I mean, soulful music is not dead.
It's there. We just have to.
You have to find it, honestly, or look for it. Yeah, you have to look for it. If you don't if you never played a soulful, if you never looked up a soulful thing, nothing is gonna pop out.
People still falling in love.
Yeah.
People still making music about being in love.
Little kids still growing up with soul in them. Yeah. Like. It's still there. Right. I don't think it's ever gonna go anywhere. We just gotta put it back on top, basically.
But that's why I appreciate these verses.
Yeah.
I think that verses. I think that's the 3 biggest things out of the pandemic that I appreciated.
Yeah, that was good.
Verses, movies on demand, and like how restaurants really have to be able to cook food good to go because you.
Yeah.
Because back in the day, to-go food was trash.
Yes,
like the boxes was trash.
Out here,
no, I'm saying everything was trash. Like the boxes they gave you was trash. The cups they gave you was trash.
Upgraded.
Like now, I mean, remember the first time we got to go from Applebee's was like, bro, what is
this?
They had a special case for the fries. They had new holders.
Where you could just yeah. Applebee's to go is so delicious all the time. It's always right every time.
Yeah, but I don't have anything else.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do Tasha Cobb tonight.
A cover?
Yeah, because I have to do a performance.
Oh, okay.
My class, but I'm thinking I'm gonna do Tasha Cobb's because it's emotional. You know, I have to show some emotion.
Well,
and Jesus is the reason.
Oops. Wrong one.
It's day.
Till this day.
That's what I meant to play.
To this
Jesus
day.
Jesus is the reason.
Yep.
Oh, I thought you was gonna say till this day.
Okay. Well, good night, guys.
See you guys later.
See you guys later. Our TikToks are really funny. Well, your TikToks.
Thanks, babe. I forgot to tell y'all that. Go be looking on TikTok, baby. JT and Nene. Period.
Right. We gotta do them together too, though. Like you doing. All of
do
them.
you?
You
Because
put the team on your back. Cody.
I've been trying to do them so that you could be like, oh, she having fun. Let me do it with her. Because y'all, I've been trying to get him. Y'all already know. I've been trying to get him to do little things like that, and he does not. He's just an old man.
I'm an old soul.
Just
I feel like I'm too over TikTok.
You have fun for
Am I too over TikTok?
No, because there's an older man and he always dances every day, and he dances so good.
So what TikTok should I start with to get me warmed up?
It's just a small little dance like that.
All right, let's do it. We'll do it tonight.
And we need to do that one about this my husband. I ain't married him because he fine. I married him because it's about God and it's
Okay. We'll do it.
All right.
All right. Good night. Good night.
Good night, guys. Thank you, guys. Woo! You've been real great. See you guys tomorrow. Let's say before we go, I have to say something about that.
What?
So me and Evan do that all the time. Every time we practice singing or like I'm singing or something like that in the car, I always be like, wow. And I'll be like, thank you guys. Good night. And I'll be like, Evan, do your part.
Bruh.
All right. All right. Goodbye. Because